video replying to a age, getting to the pertinent part. Why would anyone make up atheism? More and more I ask myself, who would do such a thing? Who would contemplate or try to claim that such a belief was founded in logic? Why would anyone make up all of that stuff and desire for the schools to drill it inside of the children as if it is not a belief? Where would it start? Where do you begin such a thing? Of course, there's the Big Bang, which is the Big Bang. And then you have Brahma, and then you have evolution, or but where do it start? That's the key. What heart harbors the desire to eliminate God from the equation? Let's imagine a situation where a person is either terrified or the tears are running down their face as a result of a pending death, or some kind of illness strikes them, or they're in a situation where they may even die of a broken heart, and they reach out to God, or who they presume or believe is God, and they pray. Although they never prayed before, this time they actually pray, and they're serious about it, and they want God to work then when they prayed for the reason they prayed, and at the time that they pray. And let's say they may pray something like, "Oh Lord, help me to get over this," or whatever. And if the Lord doesn't answer them the way that they suggested, they come to the point where they decide, well, maybe there is no God. But it's hard for them to, it's hard for some people to accept when somebody come out and just tell them to their face and say, maybe it was just not the Lord's will. That is a hard saying for them to hear. So they fabricate things. They decide, I'm going to fabricate the reality of the situation, that I kind of put myself in this position, or things happen, and God's will was done in the situation as I prayed. They decide, no, there is no God because he did not do what I told him to do. If we can go back in time, for some, it didn't start that way. It started when they maybe were Catholic, or they were in any of the various religions, and they decided, I'm going to go and get my education. And the teacher was one of those people who prayed and they didn't get their prayers answered, so they fabricated something, and now they're at the university, and they're gonna embed their mishap, their miscomprehension of what happened in their life, and they're gonna put that on these children and decide, you know what, I'm going to train these people that there is no God. That way I won't be alone. I won't be the minority in society, that I'll have some friends that agree with me. And so they're off. And they can't stop there, because the situation is, belief is so heavy that they have to find a way to combat the many voices that are surrounding these children. So they create little skits, as it were, where they go point by point over areas where they think they can weaken a person's faith, and say that they this argument or that argument, this argument, that argument, and they train these children, these impressionable children, how to think atheistically. And by the time they graduate, they have created a monster. And what happens is, if they encounter any Christian that is not fluent or not educated, it appears as if they have more knowledge, or that they're wise in a sense, when in reality, these children went to school not thinking that their beliefs were going to be attacked. For one, their parents probably aren't even that religious. And for two, they themselves weren't big church goers. But the misconceptions they always had are brought up in the classroom. And now the teacher is playing with their emotions and creating this drawn out scenario of how this is real and this isn't real, and gives them a false sense of proof or hope in the disguise of proof. And before you know it, they can't tell the difference, or they think they can, and they feel from that point on they're atheists, or that they're agnostic, on the borderline of atheism. And they begin to be inquisitive, but not to study with the sincere heart, but to study with the atheistic view. And then there's the hell thing, right? And it's like, you know, here you are, you didn't want to live a righteous life, and yet you're going to try to influence everybody else to go with you to a place from which there's no return. It's one thing for you to try to, you know, say, well, this is where I am, but for you to do that, knowing that you're working from a disappointment that this is not a factual case. It is not logic. It is not scientific. That all of your motives and reasons for doing this stuff is of a arbitrary nature. To do such a thing, it is not nice. It is unbelievably cruel.